was that? Sorry, I'm through to the council now, aren't I?
You are?
It's all right. I keep getting cut off. Have you got a problem with your phones this morning?
No, nothing's been reported as far as I'm aware, no.
Well, this is the third call I've made now. I was just speaking to one of your colleagues on this number. This is the housing, isn't it now?
Yes, you're through to the house, are you?
All it is, I'm a private landlord. I've got 4 properties down on Pine Court down in Lye, Stowbridge.
Okay.
Obviously in your area. Now all 4 properties have been empty now for quite some time. Obviously COVID and renovation work we've had done on them, etc. But I've been approached by, excuse me, a company called Serco. You know, the big boys, Serco.
Right.
And they've offered me a contract. I'm just wondering, I want to check with yourselves whether it's legit. They've offered me a contract where they can put asylum seekers within 5 days. Apparently, this is why I'm ringing yourselves. Apparently, it's approved with Dudley Council within 5 days into my properties, and they can offer me a 6-year, 11-month lease, which just sounds really, really bizarre. Now, obviously, I've been on the Serco website, and all the information about this is on there, and it does mention Dudley Metropolitan Borough Council. And I had a conversation yesterday with a lady called Karen at Serco who actually contacted me. And she said, yeah, assuming the properties are vacant. She said the councils, she said, and Dudley's one of them. She said, I can have a tenant in within 5 days, which just sounds like really, really bizarre. And then somebody pointed me towards the Serco website. So it's the official Serco website. And it's called, let me just click on it and tell you exactly what it's called. It's serco.com/landlords. And it says Serco calling all landlords. We are looking for landlords, investors and agents with properties available. Basically North West Midlands, East Anglia, pretty much all over the country. And you kind of, I mean, you can go on it yourself, you read through it, and it just sounds too good to be true because it says they get a tenant in within 5 days, approved by yourselves, and this will be like an illegal immigrant. They come straight from the hotels into these properties. It says they do all the maintenance, any outstanding repairs that need doing, they pay for. They pay you for 6 years, 11 months. And Serco themselves apparently become the landlord, but then they can put whoever they want into my properties. But like I say, I spoke with Karen yesterday on the phone, and she went through. Oh, and also this is the thing that didn't make any sense at all. She said they also pay the gas, the electric, the water, the council tax, the TV licence, and fixed broadband for the asylum seekers. And I said, well, this just doesn't sound right, but all the information's on the Serco website, and obviously it mentions yourselves. Just all seems a bit bizarre because, I mean, basically it sounds like, as a landlord such as myself, too good to be true because it says they do all the gas safe checks, they pay the insurance, they, like I say, they pay absolutely everything. Any maintenance, if anything breaks, windows, doors, you know, boilers, these guys, Serco pay for.
What I'll do, because I've just looked on the website.
Have you got on? If you go on, if you just go Google and put in Serco asylum accommodation, it'll tell you all about it. Can you see it?
Yeah, and I can see that, of course, on the website it's saying exactly what you've just spoken to me about.
Yeah, which is really, really bizarre, isn't it? Because I'm just thinking of all our homeless people and stuff, and like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, as a landlord, it'd be great for me because they're going to pay me up front. Apparently, they pay 10% over and above market value. So if mine are on at 4, and there's no agent fees, so I'm currently getting £450 through Billingham Cook. They charge me about 60 quid, so I'm left with about 390. And Serco have turned around and said, well, we'll give you £550 a month instead of £450 with no agent fees. And we'll do all the maintenance, all the repairs, all the tenancy agreements. And I said, well, what about things like council tax? And they went, oh, no, we've got an agreement with Dudley Council, because obviously I've given the postcode. So, and I said, well, what do you mean you've got an agreement? And they said, well, Serco will pay Dudley Council direct for the council tax on the actual building. And Serco will be listed as the the tenant. And it just, obviously it's on the official website, as you can see, so it's obviously real, but it just sounds like next level bizarre to myself.
Of course. I mean, I've never heard of this myself, if I'm completely honest.
No, nor had I until yesterday.
However, like you say, I mean, even on here, it's got utilities and council tax bills paid by Serco.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that you could do is, because there's an email at the bottom, I'm not sure if you...
No, I've already done that. So I emailed that, and somebody called Karen rang me back. I was on an hour and a half to Karen. She was lovely. And she said, basically, all the immigrants sort of come over allegedly on these boats. She said that are currently staying in the hotels. She says, we've got to give them accommodation. She said, so we call in all landlords with empty properties. She says, we're offering them 10% over and above market rate. We're offering them a 6-year, 11-month lease. She says, and we pay the council tax, the TV licence, the gas, the electric, the water. And I said, well, are they allowed to work or anything like that? Because obviously people have got to get food. And she said, oh no, they're given an allowance each week to get such things as food. And they get a clothing allowance, they get a mobile phone, would you believe? Now, obviously me as a landlord, if I can get 4 flats rented in the space of 5 days, and it's all, I mean, she specifically mentioned Dudley Council. She said the government have mandated Dudley Council and obviously most of the other councils to fast track. And I just thought, well, hang on a minute. I mean, years and years ago, I was on the waiting list myself, 20 years ago for a council property, just when the bidding system came in. And even when I successfully won the bid, I think I was in band 4. I mean, that was like 16 months of bidding. And then when I did win it, even though the place was, like you call it void, don't you, like empty, it was a good 2 months until I got the actual keys. And I certainly didn't get my gas, electric, water, council tax, TV licence and a food allowance. Do you know what I mean?
No, of course. I mean, this has come to a shock to myself, to be honest, because we've not heard, well, I certainly haven't heard of it before.
No.
The only thing that I'm thinking of is, of course, I mean, who deals with any repair? So, if, for example, there was anything broken in your property...
Serco pay for everything. I mean, they've actually emailed me that now, as you know, a normal tenancy agreement's about 2 to 3 pages at best. And it says that they pay for any damage. If there's any nuisance, like they cause problems with the neighbours, they deal with all that. I literally I signed the agreement. They pay me 12 months up front as well, which also sounds quite bizarre. So I get 12 months, 10% over and above market value. So that would be, in my case, round about £7,000 per flat. No fees, no gas safe, no electric checks. Serco pay for the lot, apparently. And as you can see yourself, gas, electric, water, council tax, TV licence. I actually rang them back because they rang me and it was a withheld number. And I thought this could be a practical joke. So I rang the main number that's on, there's an 0300 number if you scroll down, isn't there, on the bottom?
Oh, sure.
What does it say? We're responsible for 30,000 asylum seekers. Doesn't that? And then it says get in touch. So that's the thing I press, get in touch. And then there's a phone number at the bottom. Yeah, see, long-term lease available, 5 years plus. But when you actually speak to them, the minimum they do is 6 years, 11 months, which takes us dead on 2030, doesn't it? Well, you can see there, can't you look, full property management, no fees, repairs and maintenance. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, it costs me, as you know, a fortune for the gas check, the electric check. If a landlord locks themselves, a tenant locks themselves out or breaks a bloody window. But she says they put all... I said, well, the carpets aren't very good. I said, there's no curtains. And she says, oh, don't worry about that, Pat. She says, we put all brand new carpets. She says, all the windows will be dressed. She says, and I said, well, what about white goods? She says, all the asylum seekers are given all brand new white goods as well, which apparently I can keep at the end of 6.5 years, but by which time they'll probably be worn out anyway. And I just thought this is so bizarre because there's been nothing on the news about it that I've seen.
No, nothing at all. Right, if I can take your details, I'm going to ask a line manager about this. Not to worry. I mean, if we do get cut off, I'll give you a call back anyway.
Oh, bless you. Thanks.
Just hold the line for me just a moment.
Thanks very much.
No worries. what
Oh, yeah.
can I do for you? Because, of course, my line manager that I've just spoken to, we've not dealt with any of this, so we're not aware of it. So if I put you through to the team who are,
Yeah.
you just bear with me a moment and I'll try and transfer.
Yeah.
Please hold whilst your call is transferred to an officer.
Thank you for calling Housing Enforcement. Calls to this number are recorded for training and quality purposes. This number currently allows you to leave a recorded message which will be reviewed and passed to an officer as soon as able. If leaving a message, you must leave a name, a contact number and brief details of the nature of the call. Please call 01384 086. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press hash for more options.
Hi there, my name's Pat James. My telephone number is 07. Briefly, I've just been speaking to somebody in housing in relation to Serco and their asylum accommodation and support services contract. I have 4 vacant properties which I'm looking to let, and Serco have offered me a 6-year, 11-month tenancy or lease or contract on all 4 properties, and they're telling me that they pay the gas, the electric, the water, TV licence, council tax, fixed broadband. They house asylum seekers, and the asylum seekers, of course, aren't allowed to work, so they get clothing vouchers and they get food and they get money, and me as a landlord, I get 10% over and above market value. Serco also say that they do all the maintenance, all the gas safe checks, all the electric checks, and so on. They also tell me that if I go ahead and I sign up the contract online, so serco.com, so if you want to Google it, if you're not aware, Serco and then asylum accommodation, you can just put that in Google, go to their site. They're telling me that they've got a deal with Dudley Council and most other councils whereby they can have a tenant in my property within 5 working days. Now that just sounds too good to be true for a landlord such as myself. So if somebody could please call me back as a matter of urgency, I'd appreciate it. So once again, my name's Pat. Thank you very much. Well, there we have it. So the lovely lady at the council there, that was the 4th call, but I did manage to get through. She was a bit shocked and a bit surprised herself, bless her. And that was the private sector housing department at Dudley Council. I spoke to the normal number this morning, the standard number. They put the phone down on me. I think they thought I was a crackpot. Then I spoke to the normal housing, like council housing. They put the phone down on me, thought I was sniffing drugs. Then I spoke to James, I think it was, the previous video. We didn't get too far, me and James. He put me on hold and he cut me off. And then, as you've just heard, I spoke to that lovely lady who was quite clearly shell-shocked and couldn't quite believe what I was telling her. And clearly, while I was talking, babbling away, she went on to serco.com, asylum accommodation and support services contracts, and she looked and she said, oh yeah, she said, I can see they pay the gas, the electric, the water, the council tax, the TV licence, and you get full repairs and maintenance done on your property. There's no management fees, and it's a 5+ year lease. It's actually 6 years, 11 months, which takes us nicely up, of course, until Agenda 2030 kicks in.